Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hey there, this is Peter Moriarty from IT Genius and welcome to Business in the Cloud. In this episode, we're going to cover how you can improve your internal communication and gain engaged employees. Yes, this time in this episode, we are talking about how you can keep your communication going with your internal team members and what are some of my favorite tools for helping you stay connected with your team. So let's go through the problem with internal communication in your business. Now, for the most part, businesses have been using email to keep connected with their internal employees, and you might be doing the same kind of thing yourself, emailing back and forward, attaching files, trying to get stuff done. It's been the way that we communicate ever since we kind of got rid of the fax machine. Now, email is not a great way to communicate with someone who's sitting right beside us in the office because email's a kind of formal form of communication. You know, you say, dear so-and-so, and you write out your little electronic letter, and then you hit the send button and it goes across. But if someone's sitting across from you in the room, it's a little bit too much of a formal style of communication to really be effective. Now, what happens if maybe you're not even in the same office as your team? You know, maybe you're working from home, or you've got a geographically distributed team, you've got multiple offices, or maybe you're employing the services of a VA, a virtual assistant, and they're somewhere maybe not even in the same country as you. How do you keep connected with your team and make sure you stay on task? Well, today I'm going to go through 3 tools with you, and they're going to help you see how you can keep better connected with your team and make sure that all of your team members are better engaged in the work that you're doing together. And we're talking all about communication and keeping everyone on the same page. So first up, I'll run through now what we are going to cover in the episode. First up, how to keep your team connected with Google Hangouts. Now, Google Hangouts is a Google product, nice and easy to use. Thankfully, it's free for everyone, which is great. All you need is a Gmail account to get started. I'm going to run you through the basics of Hangouts and why it's a great option for your business. Next, as you scale your team, you might look at an option called Slack. Now, Slack is for internal communication. Again, it's a little bit like Hangouts, but it really brings larger teams more options for their internal text and instant messaging-based communication. Lastly, we're going to be covering how to keep on task with your team with Asana. Asana is a collaborative task management system, and it allows you to keep on track with the tasks that you're managing between you and the rest of your team members. So let's get started and start talking about Hangouts. You're watching Business in the Cloud with Peter Moriarty. So first, let's talk about Hangouts and how you can help get Hangouts better connecting your team members. As I said earlier, email is the way that we've kind of done communication for a long time, but it's a very formal kind of communication. Now, rather than what we normally do inside an office or maybe communicating with your employees currently, you know, we're relying on all different kinds of communication right now. You might be using Facebook Messenger, you might be using Viber, you might be using Voxer, you might even be texting or calling your employees to get in touch with them. Now, for the most part, employees don't really want you contacting them on their personal mobiles. You know, it may be necessary from time to time, but it's not the best way to manage your internal communication, especially if you want to be respectful of somebody's personal space. Next up, formal communication like email is not really great if you need to ping a message to someone who's maybe out of the office for the day and, kind of check in and say, hey, how you feeling? Are you going to be able to come back to work tomorrow? Or maybe you've got field staff and you want to check up on their location. You don't necessarily want to be calling them all day long, asking for a checkup. We need a way to keep in touch with each other, but some of the consumer apps that are out there, like, for example, Voxer or Viber, or even Facebook Messenger, which some business owners use as well, they're not really able to be controlled by you as the business owner. Any of the data or the information in there might be housed by Facebook or housed by a Voxer app, and that information can tend to go walkabout. You don't really have the ability to control or audit any of that information for compliance purposes. It also means that, you're asking your staff to add you on a service that they might see as personal. They might only want their personal friends on their Facebook Messenger. They might only want their personal friends on their Voxer or their Viber. So Google Hangouts has great ability, when integrated with the Google Apps for Work system, to use your business email addresses to communicate via Hangouts. And primarily, Hangouts helps you connect with text-based communications and video calls as well. So you can either integrate it with your business email addresses by using Google Apps for Work, or if you'd like to set it up for free and get all of your team accessing it from any email address, they can even use a free Gmail account. So the only requirement to get started with Hangouts is to have a Google registered address. As I said, it can be a business address or an individual Gmail address to keep your team connected. So I'm going to give you a bit of a demo on how it actually works and how you can use Hangouts and where this is great for you to use in your team. We prefer to recommend Hangouts to smaller teams, so typically companies with 10 to 15 employees or less. Once you get to a larger team, you might be looking for something a little bit more sophisticated, like Slack or Asana, some of the other tools that we're going to be covering later on in this episode. But if you're just getting started with instant messaging and you're just getting started with video calling inside the business, rather than jumping along to any of the more advanced tools, get started with Hangouts. It's a great place to start and get your team used to the concept of instant messaging and keeping in quick communication with each other. Now, you may have tried some alternatives to Hangouts, like for instance, Skype. That's definitely a viable option there. One of the great things about Hangouts is it works excellently across all different platforms, and it's free no matter how you're using it. So, even adding up to 25 participants on a single video call doesn't cost you a cent or anyone else joining that call. And as you know, it's very hard to beat free. So let's run through some of the basics of Hangouts and how you can use it in the business. So the easiest way to get started with Hangouts is right in your web browser. If you head along to hangouts.google.com, just in your browser, I'll go ahead and type that one in there again. That's going to bring you to the Google Hangouts start page. Now, you're going to first need to sign in with a Google account. So you'll see here in the top right-hand corner, I'm actually signed in with my business account right now. We use Google Apps for Work, which means I can have my business email address on my Google Apps account, and I can use that for all of my Google services. But you may have a Gmail address that you decide to sign in with. If you just want to dip your toe in the water, then I'd recommend you start out with a Gmail address. Now, once I'm signed in, it's really, really simple to operate Hangouts. All I need to do is start a new conversation with one of my colleagues, and you can see here I've got some recent conversations that I've had here. I can just click on any one of these participants and start a chat, or if I need to start typing in somebody's email address, I can connect with one of my colleagues just by typing in their email. So here we go. I'm just loading up Sarah's contact here, and I can start a conversation with Sarah. Now, what you're going to be doing is primarily having text-based conversations. This is the real power of Google Hangouts. You may have used it for video calls already, but we recommend using Hangouts for text-based communication. And the reason for that is it's a great way of keeping in touch with your team for short, instant messages without needing to type out a formal email. So the kind of thing this is useful for is if you're sitting across the room for one of your colleagues and you find an interesting news article or a URL or maybe a website that you want to share with them, and rather than dropping it into an email and waiting for that to send, you can just punch it into instant messaging, messages automatically going to go right across to your colleague. Or maybe you're out on the road. If you get out and about running your business, going between visiting clients, or maybe you've got more active or outdoorsy kind of business. If your team in your office or at another location need to get in touch with you, rather than them picking up the phone and calling you all the time, well, they can use Google Hangouts to shoot you a quick message from their desktop, which is going to come to the Google Hangouts mobile app. So that's going to keep you connected wherever you are. So let's do a bit of a demo now on exactly how you can use Hangouts and where it's useful. So I've got Sarah's contact typed in here. I'm going to go ahead and click the message button. You can see here that I've got 3 options if I want to initiate a new one. We've already got Sarah selected, so I'm going to hit the message button, and then it's going to pop up with a little message here on my desktop. Now I've installed the Google Hangouts plugin. I'm going to show you how to get the plugin set up in a second, but I want to show you first how Google Hangouts works. So you can see here I've got my little chat window, and I can send a little message to Sarah, say hello. I can even use little smileys and emoticons and that kind of thing. Lots of different options there. There's even little cool little stickers and stuff that I can send over. Let's send a little message here. Whoops, I missed that. Let's find another one. Cool. So let's say hi. Cool, for the win. All right, awesome. So what we can do is let's go ahead and initiate a video call with Sarah, and we'll just say hello to Sarah on video. Now, this is super easy to do. Once we've got our chat window up, all I need to do is click the little video button here. So I'll zoom in so you can see it. There's a little video button here. All I do is go ahead and click onto the video button, and it's automatically going to launch a video call with Sarah. Now, this is going to call Sarah right from my computer. Whoop, let's just mute that a little bit loud. It's going to call Sarah right from my computer, and let's see when she picks up and says hello. So Sarah is now joining our chat. Let's wait for her to pop up. And just like you may be used to with a Skype call, hi Sarah, how you going? Sarah's upstairs from our studio, and thank you so much for helping out, Sarah. Now, if I want to, let's say, for example, share my computer screen with Sarah, then I can go ahead and do that, nice and easy. What I'll do is I'll just click on my screen share button here, which is in the top left-hand corner, and I can even share what's on my computer screen. So I'm going to go ahead here and let's share my entire screen. Hi, we've got Kathy. Kathy's going to say hi to us. Hi, Kathy. So I'm sharing what's on my screen currently. And I'm going to go ahead and share. Let's say I wanted to demo something. I can show Sarah what's on the Google Hangouts website here. Maybe I can even demo something that's sitting there on my desktop. Anything that I need to share with Sarah, I can easily share that right from within the video call. So let's go ahead and we'll cancel that one. We'll say goodbye. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to hang up the call. Now, if I need to have a call with multiple participants, it's really simple. I just add multiple participants before I go ahead and initiate the call. But as you can see, this is an easy way to, first of all, have text-based communication with different team members, but then also create simple video conferences, not only from your computer, but also from your mobile device as well. And this works across Apple devices, Android devices, even iPads and other tablets as well. Any computer using Mac or Windows, it's going to work great. So let me show you some more of the basics of the text-based communication and how that can help you to keep better connected with your team. So I've got a little icon here to bring up my Hangouts window on my desktop. I'm going to open up my window. Now, you can see here that this chat has a few different team members. And the way that I add team members into my conversations is just by clicking onto the people icon here. And then I can click the Add People button. So if I want to add someone into my conversation, it's really easy. Here we go. I can add Cronal to this one. Let's click Add People. And I'm going to go ahead and say, hi, team. Send a message off to everyone. Now, you'll notice here that as different team members read different parts in the communication, then you can see their little icon is going to pop up on the screen. So I always know who's read up to where in our conversations. And so that makes it really easy to see who's received my communication, whether or not it's been read. But I can see here that, you can see Hardy's icon hasn't popped down to the bottom yet, so he hasn't quite read that one yet. I'm going to just send a little smiley face to the team. There we go. That's all we need to do in that conversation. Now, if I want to make a group video call with all of the participants on this call, again, I just hit my video button, and that's going to start a call for everybody. Now, you can see here that this isn't really a formal type of communication. This is akin to sending someone a text message, or perhaps sending somebody, a message on Messenger, on Facebook. But what this does is this allows you to have it all controlled by the business. If you're using a Google for Work account for your business, this allows you to keep connected with your team members right from within your business account. And all of your conversations are searchable right.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.